When everything you love is taken away, the silence that follows feels endless. It is not just quiet. It is the kind of silence that hums, heavy and alive, like the air before a storm. I remember standing in the middle of my apartment, half-empty boxes around me, realizing that my life, once so full, had collapsed into fragments. My business had failed, my savings were gone, and the person I thought would stay forever had walked away without looking back. I was not just broke, I was hollow. That night, I wandered the city streets until I reached the old train yard. Rusted tracks stretched toward the horizon like veins of forgotten hope. There was a man sitting by a barrel fire, his coat torn, his hands trembling slightly as he warmed them. I sat down beside him without a word. He looked at me and smiled faintly, the kind of smile that had seen both storms and stars. "You lost something," he said, more as a statement than a question. I nodded. "Then you are lucky," he whispered. "Now you can learn how much you truly have." Those words stayed with me. I did not understand them at the time. I was too deep in my grief, too consumed by everything I had lost. But weeks later, when I had nowhere left to run, I began to walk, not towards something, but simply to move. One afternoon, I found myself near the riverbank where an old woman sold hand-woven baskets. She called out to me and asked if I would help carry a bundle of reeds from the shore. I did. As we worked, she told me how she had once lost her husband, her home, and her savings in a single storm. She laughed softly and said, "I thought life had ended." But it was only asking me to begin again, with my own hands. She showed me how she soaked the reeds, how she bent them without breaking, how each fragile strand became stronger when woven together. "Life does the same to us," she said. "It softens us so we can bend instead of snap." That day, I carried a small basket home, not as decoration, but as a quiet promise that I could be rebuilt. Months passed. I started working part-time at a shelter, helping others find what I was still looking for: stability, belonging, purpose. One evening, a young man came in, shivering from the cold. His eyes reminded me of my own reflection months earlier, lost and frightened. He asked if I thought life ever becomes kind again. I wanted to say I did not know, but something in me shifted. And instead, I told him, "Kindness is what comes after we stop expecting life to be easy." The words surprised me as they left my mouth, like they had been waiting to be said all along. There is an old tale from the mountains about a blacksmith whose forge burned down. He sat in the ashes for days, believing his work and life were over. But when he finally rose to rebuild, he found that the fire had uncovered a vein of rare metal beneath his workshop, one that would make him the finest craftsman in his land. The story was never about fire. It was about what was revealed when everything else was burned away. That became my truth. Losing everything was not the end. It was the unveiling. I began to see strength not as power or success, but as endurance, as gentleness that refuses to die. Strength was waking up with nothing and still saying, "I will try again." Today, when I look back, I do not see failure. I see rebirth. I see the man who lost his fortune but gained his peace. I see the old woman weaving her baskets, her hands steady and sure. I see the blacksmith rising from ashes, discovering something precious beneath his ruin, and I see myself no longer afraid of losing because I now understand that what is truly mine cannot be taken. Sometimes losing everything is how we meet ourselves for the first time. It is how we learn that our worth does not live in what we hold, but in what we rise from. If this story spoke to something inside you, please like, share, and subscribe. Legacy Alive, where every loss becomes a lesson and every ending opens into light. Tell me in the comments, what did losing something teach you about your own strength?